Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We're getting better, boys. We're getting better at this. I have to tell you, last night, a lot of us were in Beni Brak for a Hebrew shir. It was a tremendous moment. So I don't know numbers. I'll tell you like this. Beni and the guys, they, without exaggeration, they set up 900 chairs. And there was at least 100 people standing on that, probably more. So we don't have pictures yet. We have a video that I'll show you in a little bit maybe, but it's just one room, the video. The video doesn't show the second room that's the same size next to it with the overflow. There's an overflow room that was open. Yishkoyach to Beni. In the beginning, they set up for 600, 500 or 600, and I told Beni, you gotta go big. He said, well, so the mice, he ran and he set it up a different way. And then when I got there at about 9, Mendy Oyerbach comes over and says, don't go in yet. There's only about 150 people. It's bizyonis. So we waited a few minutes, but by like 9:30ish, it really filled up stark. It was very nice. It was very hard. There was like issues with the sound. And there's a lot of bocher. It's like a minhag. I don't know. We have a guy in our shul, a few people in our shul that do it. It's so annoying. They go pss, 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 pss. The entire shir, people pss, pss, to each other. The entire shir. So people going around asking them to be quiet. Like, what are you going to do? Anyways, it was one of these things. So I have to say a tremendous yishkoyach. One guy took it upon himself. And they say he must have spent 100,000 shekel on this thing. I mean, the amount of advertising that he did, and the amount of, it's his hall, he owns the hall. His name is Moshe Cohn, his father is Yosef Cohn, from Chazdei Naomi. They run Chazdei Naomi, the CEO of Chazdei Naomi. And so they own this famous hall called Armenot Chain, and they did it there. But just the food, and he built a stender exactly this size, exactly this color, everything, built it out of wood. So that I have a stender like that. I mean, it was just, everything was above and beyond. Mamish, what? This chair, I think they brought it in from the Basra. But it was unbelievable, Mamish unbelievable. It's a maimed, listen, to see 1,000 people come for not just a Daf Yomi share, to see what it is. Anyway, I said over the story there, hey, come in, Mendy, we have your seat. I said over one of my favorite stories where I met the guy in Chicago and he didn't recognize me, and I kept on saying my name is Eli Stefansky, and finally he says, how are you related to Ruthie Stefansky, who's just nifter? I said, it's my mother. He says, you Eli Stefansky? I said, yeah. And he's like, when did you go off the derech? and then the continuation of the story is that a guy that was Rosh Kollel came from Eretz Yisrael, and they told him that he was the connection to, I'm not going to go into all the details, had a connection to Yechiel Yehuda Lefkowitz, a grandson of Yechiel. And he came, and so somebody said, there's a guy in Chicago, that a real estate guy, go speak to him, he learned by Yechiel Yehuda. So he comes, he made an appointment, sat down, back in the day when I had time to meet with people, and I tell him over this story, and he looks at me very seriously after I finish the story. He says, no, so when did you go off the derech? I'm like, and you expect me to write you a check? I say over the story last night, and after the shir, this is a ma'aser show, I can't make this up. A guy comes over to me and says, I'm the Rosh Kollel that told you that. It's a true story, but I need to tell you, I do your shir every single day for the last 2 years. This is what he said.
Why did he ask you that question?
Because he thought I went up the derech. So I showed a picture that I never showed Oilam. Here you go. This is me at my bar mitzvah with Rav Shach. And the payas, and the this. He's okay. So he saw a guy with the chup. I went off the derech. For him, I went off the derech. You still gonna pay? By the way, I saw you there, and I saw your son there last night. You should go for coming. What? That's right. It was good? Was it?
Somebody thinks he's still off the derech.
You see the tie started then. Here, this tie, the whole Indian with the ties. You think this was mutter in Bnei Brak? They had that little schnipsel over there? No way.
That's where it started.
Yeah. Anyway.
No. $300 tie back.
300 agurot. Anyway. What comes around goes around. The same guy. He does this share every day. Did I say 2 years? Maybe it's a year. I don't know. Yeah, kids are. He's. every day. He says it's a true story. Ma'aseh Shoya. He didn't ask me Mechila, but whatever. I'll show you real quickly. This is in middle of the shir. I saw the other one was falling asleep, and we had a lot of issues. This is one room. So by that wall, there's another room like that. Okay, that's one. What else did I want to show you? Rabbi Isai, a tremendous Yishkoyach to Chaim Snow for taking this video. Didn't charge him DY anything. Check this out. And no, the editing is somebody else, right? Ariel did the editing, our own in-house editing. Ariel. This is the Siyum on Bava Basra. Here in Israel.
ברוכים הבאים לסיום של מסכת בבא בסרה.
Only shaved guys are talking.
היהודי הזה יכול ליהנות מטוירו. אני חייב לתת לו את זה. מסתיגלו מסכת בבא בסרה בני.
לשמוע דברי חיזוק וישראל.
ובזכות
הקפיאו סיתם לתורה, כתבו ביעזרנו, שהניסים ונפלויס ימשיכו הלאה.
Yishkoyach to the editor, Yishkoyach to Chaim Snow. Refuah Shelaima Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masechta sponsored for Hatzlacha Berukhnisi Begashmiyos. The Masechta sponsored by Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 for 32 years until he was nifter. The Masechta sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people. Sechta sponsored by Glenn Esterson with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. By the way, I'm not making this up. I thought to myself this morning, one person came to mind that he was there, he was mechazik me, Mendi Auerbach. I don't know why. Right. A lot of people came, and I appreciate there's a lot of people from Bet Shemesh. Baruch Hashem, otherwise we wouldn't have filled. But Mendi gave me a special chizuk. Shkoyach. Koil of the month, sponsored by HYK Ventures in honor and for the success of all our clients. Oh, I forgot to say this one. What am I doing here? Okay. Parnas HaChodesh. Li Nishma Zchaya ben Moshe, Li Nishma Zchaya bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh Zchut, Parnas Berevach for Baruch Tzvi Nisim ben Shana Leah. Parnas HaChodesh Vedakar Zadoi from Anonymous. Parnas HaChodesh Shprintzy Alan Gross. Shlomo Zalman ben Yitzchak, Isaac Zchron Levracha, Yom Isaac ben Tzvi Hirsch, Cohn Zchron Levracha. And Refuah Shelaima to Yonis and Eitan ben Bas Sheva Bracha. By Leon Welcher. Thanking Hashem for the release of Ari Rosenfeld, Aaron Ben Hindo, Esther Gittel. Parnas HaYoyim, in honor of Rabbi and Mrs. We have 5 Parnas HaChodesh, 5 Masechtas, and 5 Parnas HaYoyim. Perfect. In honor of Rabbi and Mrs. Shmuel Mordechai Horowitz, Toronto Cheder, on their anniversary, from Chaim and Shulim, Mazel Tov. Parnas HaYoyim, Rabbi Yaakov Bleichen family. Lili Nishmas, Yishua Chashuva, Dvoira Henya, Basra, David Aleh Shalom, the day of Yortzeit. That's him? Rabbi Yankiv Bleich, is that his first name?
Yeah. He's the Rav of...
That's it, I'm saying, that's the Rav? Well, it could be somebody else. Yeah, okay. Listen to this one. Lili Nishmas, my grandfather, Moshe Gavriel ben Rabbi Yehuda Leib, Uncle Leo. Yehuda Leib is the famous Uncle Eli Stefansky, who's 60 years old, but it's his son, Moshe Gavriel, Gabi. I can't believe it. Who's 60 years old is on Shabbos. So Gavriel, I think this is the person, I'm pretty sure, used to come to every single one of our simchas with Rabbi Yitzchok. These are my father's cousins. These are the sons of Leo. There was 10 brothers, 10 Stefansky brothers who came from Switzerland. If you want to know the history, everybody asks, you related? Yes, I'm related. Before they say, yes. There's 10 brothers from Switzerland who left Switzerland. One of them was my grandfather. My grandfather's Rebbe Fall. And his brother, Leo, is the famous owner of Dagim tuna fish, and that's in Borough Park. So all the Stefanskys from Borough Park, not all, that's Leo. And one of them, the son, is Gavriel. And that's like the next generation. They used to come to every simcha. Every simcha we had, a bar mitzvah, Shev Brak, they were always there. And he's no longer with us. 60 years. Shabbos. His wife, who's nifter a few weeks ago. Mars Hindel Basa Chaver Chaim. Parnas Hayoim, Yechiel Levin, Lilishmas Chomi, Reb Noach Moshe Ben Chaim, Cohn Zchut. 23 years to his ptir. You know, I gotta mention this. 4 very choshev people came over to me by Reb Simcha's wedding. Let me see if I have it here. I wrote it down somewhere. I'll have to find it again. Their father gave his father new life. What's his name? Related to Al-Bag. I wrote it down. It's in my thing. I'll have to put it out the next time. I wanted to say hello to him. He watches the shir. He's 85 years old in Borough Park. And all 4 of his chashiv, you know, like Rabbeim, Rabbanim, they came to me and they're like, you don't understand what you did for our father. He couldn't make it to the chasana. I think, and then they spoke about it at the mitzvah tans that he does the shir. Oh, anyways. Next time, we'll try to get it next time. Parnas Hayoim, Lilishmas Tzvituvio Ben Shraga Faivel Kitai, Lomed Daf Yomi Harbe Shanim, Gam Bonim Ubnei Bonim. Kitei. Lilishmas Tzvituvio Ben Shraga Faivel Kitei. He learned Daf Yomi for many years. Bonim Ubnei Bonim. Art of the month, for the Zchut rebellion, the whole of the white staff to continue to make Torah of so many. And Art of the month in honor of Yosef Klein, who was somewhere. Ben Shemayim La'aretz, he left last night back to America and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi Sai, here we go. We have a Shaila. Ari Simon, please do not answer. I'll tell you, if the Oil doesn't know, then I have a feeling the Oil will know. This is one of these questions. You also can't answer, okay? This is your tchum. Don't answer. How many kids did Avraham Avinu have? Gary Ben Moshe said 25, because he said it last night also. Anyway, how many kids have Avraham Avinu have? Boys, we should know this stuff. What do you say? You listened last night. No, Shamshi. Okay, now from the two of you, what do you say? You know, what do you say?
Including Keturahs?
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of kids from Keturah.
How many? How many?
I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
Smaller, you slot to any of Keturahs.
You say 8. You say 8. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name again?
Goodman.
Well, how come I know you so well? Where did I just see you?
Here.
But like a month ago, within the month.
No, that was somebody else.
No, it was you. It was you. When did I see you last? Where are you from?
Toronto.
No, so you're just here. So you were here half a year ago?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all just a dream. Fine. As we're going to see in the Gemara, Avraham Avinu had the famous 2. Yitzchak and Esau, and Yishmael, I mean. And then he had Bnei Keturah, that's 6. So total 8. So he had so according to the Mandomar, he had a daughter. Either he had a daughter, he didn't have a daughter. So it's either 8 or 9.
You have to remember.
Okay. Yeah.
He only had 1. He was Avram when he had Yishmael.
Oh. Okay. Here's another one. A trick question. When is a perfectly healthy Jew allowed to eat a pig? Bizman hazeh. I see Leiby knows the answer. Shh. Huh? Oh, good. So I forgot to answer the Olam and Bnei Brak. I hope they chapped it at the end. We're going to see all the way at the end of the Gemara what happens if a pig falls out of the sky. Comes right from Shemayim. In other words, the Kosh Baruch Hu sends it down. Are you allowed to eat it or not? The Gemara says it's kosher. There's no such thing as tamei from Shemayim. So even if it looks like a pig, you eat it.
Lab grown the pig then?
Oh, so I'm going to talk about it. That's exactly what I want to talk about. Synthetic meat. Are you allowed to eat synthetic meat? No, I'm saying, are you allowed to eat synthetic meat with milk?
But it's marasai.
Oh, that's different things. So says the Gemara. Rabbi said we have a very geschmacked daf. It's basically Agadata today. And I want to say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because this shear in Bnei Brak wasn't planned 2 days ago. It was planned, a month ago, 2 months ago. He asked me if we could do it. And how long ago, Beni, did he plan it? At the Siyum. You're talking about 60 days ago. And I could just imagine if I had to sit down in Bnei Brak in front of 300 yeshiva ktanim bachrim and learn the sugis that we learned yesterday and the day before. Because Baruch Hu saved us. No, bemes. Like Geshmaka sugi with Torah, how important Torah is. Mamish for Bnei Brak. It's custom made. We're holding 5 lines from the bottom of Nun Ches Amud Beis. Noyach Amud Beis. Says Rish Lakish, it says in the pasuk, Oived ad Moshe Yizba Lochem, a person who works the ground, he'll be satiated with bread. If a person works hard on the field, he plows it, oh, by the way, I have to say this just reminded me. No, because it's just Yizba Lochem. I mean, this has to do with the sugya. A lot of people, and I told the Bnei Brakis, especially Bnei Brak, they fall for this stuff. People advertise. You put in here your little investment, because they have to save up for chassan. So each Avrechim have 100,000 shekels sitting around. Sometimes halavai, because they have to marry off 25 kids with 100,000 shekel. So they put it in get rich fast schemes, and that's a scheme. Anytime you get rich fast, anything that you don't have to work hard, you make a lot of money. You should know it's a fraud. 99% of the time. The Gemara says over here, you have to work hard on the field. You don't just buy real estate and Shalom Yisrael. Ask Mendy, right? You have to work it. You have to go. People think, I invest in real estate, boom, I'll become a millionaire. No. You have to be there. You have to sleep there. You have to eat it and breathe it. What?
What's that 1%? Is it 99%? What's that 1%? Real estate.
No, you could find a good investment in America that's not a scam, but it's only 1%. So, a guy comes over to me before the shear in Bnei Brak and he says, listen, I do your shear 5 times, I drive a taxi, I do your shear 5 times a day. Nobody's ever told me that. And he really knew, he had keys in the shear, he told me different things back and forth. He says, like you say here, like you say there. And then he comes running back to me and says, listen, but if you're going to say this over, don't tell people I'm a taxi driver. I actually learned in Kailul. I drive a taxi, Ben Azdarim, in other hours. I make a parnasa. It's unbelievable. He wrote me an email, I didn't have time to read it. But Bnei Brak, just in Bnei Brak. Guy drive a taxi for Parnasa, does the shear 5 times as he's driving the taxi, I said, what, so you do the same jokes over? He says, no, I skip all the emails. What are you talking about? I start from the shear. Okay. Says the Gemara, if you are... No, I'm not even there. If he doesn't work the ground, he will not be satiated from the bread. So you have to be an eved lo adama. You slave the land, then you'll make money in real estate. A guy who keeps Shabbos. As we'll see in the Gemara, it doesn't really mean Shabbos. It means a guy who doesn't work for 24 hours, takes a vacation in the middle of the week, on a Tuesday, he's chayiv misa. Shenemar, v'yoyim v'laylo lo yishboisu. It's referring to the seasons that they shouldn't stop, but the Gemara is darshaning it that you don't take off a full day and a full night. So we have a little bit of a picture here from Yoshi. This is a guy that has a Suda Shabbos.
He's wearing a Caesar.
He's doing something. I don't know. He's eating a filter fish.
No, it's Caesar. It's not a guy. It's the king of Rome.
Oh. No, that's the soup that warmed up. When the Torah gives a hazara, let's say in the Sheva Mitzvah, the Torah just warns a guy, a benoyach. That's it. That tells you that you get misa. In other words, not like a yid that you need a warning and a einish. You just a warning and that's it. Even if he takes off 24 hours during Monday, which is no connection. The Chassam Sofer says, what's the difference Monday and Sunday? Because Sunday you could say, it's Shabbos in Australia. It's Shabbos here. No, It's not Shabbos anywhere. It's on a Monday. Says Gemara, if so, how come it's not part of the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach? Again, what are the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach? You have Avodah Zarah, Gilurai, Shvichas Damim, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalid, Evim and Achai, Birkas Hashem, Gezel, and Dayanim. So number 8 should be Shabbos. Now what? The famous Maisa, right? The guy was in the process of becoming ger, so they said, "Listen, you can't keep Shabbos." He says, "What do you mean I can't keep Shabbos? We have guys that watch the shir that are not Yidden. They look 100. They have a black hat already. The whole thing." So the guy says, "Well, I'm going to be Mechal Shabbos." So he said, "Yeah." He says, "Okay, I was Mechal Shabbos. How?" He says, "I carried my keys from my house to the thing." So the guy says, well, "You're carrying your keys. There's an Eruv. That's not Chil Shabbos." He says, "Yeah, but I don't hold of the Eruv." Ashi just arrived. Shelaima, thanks, Ashi. Thank you. You're very welcome. I appreciate it. I hope you. Thank you. So, there was a shaila of a real ger, who they weren't sure the tefillah was good or not. It was like Erev. So now, what do? He doesn't know if he's a yid or not, and if he's a guy, he has to be Mechal Shabbos. Yeah, it could happen. So let's say such a thing happened. A yid, he has to keep Shabbos. A goy not. So they told him a very simple idea: go into Rosh Hashanah and wear a talis. If you're a yid, you have to mechuyev in the tzitzis, so you're not carrying. But if you're a goy, then the tzitzis is nothing. The tzitzis is like holding a radio onto your talis, keys on your baggage. You can't do that. The strings are carrying, and memeli you're Mechal Shabbos if you're a goy, and perfect. Okay, so the Gemara. So the question is, now I have an 8th mitzvah called keeping Shabbos. Says we said things don't do, don't kill, don't steal, etc. It doesn't say don't kill, don't eat Ever Menachai, don't curse, etc. But now we're saying do be Mechal Shabbos. Carry keys on Shabbos. Do something. That's a positive. That's not part of the Shabbos mitzvahs b'nei Noach. That's the Gemara. V'ho dinim kumasehu v'gochoshev. What about making a bezdin? That's a positive. Says the Gemara. Kumasei v'shev al ta'aseninu. There's 2 components to making a bezdin. One is build a bezdin, bring dayanim together. The other one is do not do oval. Don't do something distorted. Don't be a bad guy. Don't do crazy things. That is a don't. The question is, who's that said to? Is that said to the dayanim, or is that said to every ben noach? So machlokes Rambam and Ramban, whether it's said to every human being or not. A non-Jew, or I should say, an idol worshiper who is oisik in Torah, learns Torah, is chayiv misa. Shenemar Torah tziva lanu Moshe Moirasha. Moshe Rabbeinu was mitzavos the Torah, and he gave us an inheritance, a Moirasha, a Yerusha. Lanu Moirasha, v'loi lohem Moirasha. So since I was in Bnei Brak, I decided to say over something from Zchut, of course. I had a meeting with him, but I said, it was a little bit too, I really wanted to see him, but next time. He asked to give a Doilam, love this Shaila. What happens in a shir of old men here in Eretz Yisrael where the Filipinos wheel these guys in? So now you have more Filipinos than people that are listening to the shir. You have a Roiv non-Jew. Could you say the shir? And he said, of course you could, because the Kavana is L'Shem Shamayim for Torah. And then we have this video that didn't work so well last night. Hopefully it works better here today. Here you go.
Ahlan wa sahlan. What are you doing?
Studying the Daf Yomi.
Walak, interesting. Can I join you?
Sure.
Idol worshiper who studies Torah, chayiv misa. Chayiv misa.
Clouds are not moving. What's going on?
Every kid in Cheder says Torah to Lanu Moshe Russia. Lanu Moshe. It's Rosh Bros,
Why, what nonsense. So I deserve the death penalty because I studied Torah.
Hey! Haven't you forgotten something?
Why,
One thing is for sure, he's not gonna fall in Beni Brak.
Okay. And that's the only part you like. Okay. There's a kid here? Baruch Hashem, we have to bring him every time. All right. The Brisker Rav asked some Mordechai Shaila. You hear, Ashi? Very good kasha. How could you steal Torah? It's an inheritance to Klal Yisrael, but you're just learning. You didn't take anything from a Yid. It's there. Whatever's there is there. Whatever. You didn't take anything. You just read it. So he says, you see from here that you're not allowed to even take something without really taking. You're not allowed to use something without taking the mashal. Today, I'm just throwing this in. Digital property. Taking a program from somebody. So according to this, a guy that copies over somebody else's thing and has commercial, whatever it is, and he doesn't take it, he just copies, it's aser. B'chayev misa for that. Huh? Yeah, I'm just saying it, but according to this. Oh, I want to show you this. Based on what we saw, is this guy saying the right thing? I think he messed up a little bit. I like this guy, but just the last part I think is messed up. Check this out.
More than 2 decades ago, Jack Saunders began to question the core doctrinal teachings of Christianity. But as this ordained Baptist minister came to embrace the truth of the Torah and Jewish teachings, he elected not to become Jewish, but to embrace a Noahide lifestyle, adhering to the 7 commandments Judaism says are incumbent upon all of humanity.
So you got a prohibition against idolatry, you have a prohibition against blaspheming the name. Those are in the relationship to God himself. And then you can go with priorities. Prohibition against murder. There's a prohibition against theft, prohibition against sexual sins, and a prohibition against eating the limb of living animal, which is really an interesting one. And of course, eventually, it's really a negative that becomes a positive, and it's actually establishing courts of justice.
It's a positive that's a negative. I think the ikir is the positive to make a bezdin, but we also have a negative. Okay, you can look at it both ways. The machlokes. Yeah. It's a positive to make a bezdin, and then you have a. Yeah. What do we have here? Oh, sorry. Says the Gemara, how come it's not one of the 7? It should be 8 mitzvahs that one of them is that a goy should not learn Torah. Mandama, like in Korea. Mandama Mayrasha, Migzal Kagazel. It's already part of the Shev mitzvahs. Still. Mandama Mayrasa. There's a Gemara in Psachim Daf Yomi Amud Beis. Here it is. That says, so according to this man Omar, that you read in Mayrasa, you're engaged. So then you can narrow Mayrasa to the Skila. This is actually halacha varais. Meisvei, I have a question. It says the exact opposite. Not only is a goy not chayiv misa, but it elevates him to tremendous madrega of a kohen gadol if he learns Torah. I love this part. You're supposed to do the Hashem's commandments and and that's how you live with it. The famous Baruch Ber says that a person who learns Torah, it's not like a good thing, a gewaldige thing, it's a big mitzvah. No, it's life itself. It's not like, in addition to life. Okay?
You're talking about the double cut and double gadol.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'm talking about life, breathing. That one.
Is double cotton? How could it be said the Baruch Ber? Because double cotton like a life. Life is something which is partial. That's the Baruch. That's your Baruch.
Yeah, but it's a little okay. And the Shlosh says, he brings Rashi, Rashi in Brachas Daf Vav. The Rashi teaches v'chai. Chai, the word chai means frishka. So the Shlosh says frishka means a frischkeit. V'chai, to live like mamish, like not live, to live. Mit der Frischkeit. Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim, lo nemer. It doesn't talk about Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim. Elo hadam, mankind. Holamata shavidu oivit kechavim. Vayzik bat Torah. Harei Kohen Gadol. Anybody who learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol. Memela, how could you say Yechayiv Misa? The Gemara answers, Hasam b'sheva mitzvahs they do. We're talking about a guy that's learning and studying his own 7 mitzvahs. That's okay. Then he's like a Kohen Gadol. And Tosfos points out that a Yid is not like a Kohen Gadol. A Yid that learns Torah is greater than a Kohen Gadol. Not Tosfos here, Tosfos Avodah Zarah. We continue. Don't worry about it. It's more Geshmak stuff. Refuah says not only Aver Menachai is Ben Noach, but also blood. If he drinks blood, does anybody want to see a video of a bunch of Africans drinking blood? Can I see a raise of hands? I have the video. I could show it to you, but it's only if Thailand wants. 2 kids, 3 kids. Yaakov Sidra. Okay, Thailand doesn't want to see. Thailand doesn't get.
There's blood sausages.
No, I have a video in the Masai Mara. I think that's where the next trip of MDY is going to the Masai Mara. I'm not kidding. And they, hopefully, we'll be able to see it live. They drink. All they do is they drink the milk from a cow. They eat the cows themselves and the meat, and they also drink the blood. They take an arrow, they cut a vein, and it just pours right out of the cow, and then they drink it like that. They gulp it down, geschmack with a geschmack, and then they take the dung of a cow, and they put it in the wound, and that heals the wound. Kids don't ask kashas. And memela, so people are drinking. Is that also or not? So we're going to see. It's not so much that it's also according to Chachamim. He says yes. Rabbi Chanina says it's also. This teaches us the Isser of a limb. Even that, not in addition to the limb, also the blood. So we're going to see in the Gemara, very interesting, that according to Chanina, it's a big machlokes here. The Isser of blood, where's the Isser from? Not because there's another word in that pasuk that says dam, which it does, but rather it comes from the Isser of Ever Menachai. It's part of the Isser of Ever Menachai, blood Menachai. It's an afkimina if you're warned on an aver and not on blood. The Hasra was on this. Okay. My time the Rebbe Chanina Gamliel, Karibei, Basra ben Afshi lo yisoichel, Domei ben Afshi lo yisoichel. What just happened? So Yoshi did a gevaldik job here as usual. It says in the pasuk, Ach Basra ben Afshi Domei lo yisoichelu, and you take the word Basar, very, very simple. You take the word Basar, you knock it out, and you take the word Domei, you put it over here. That's how you learn. Ach, instead of, it's in addition to the Basar, Ach Domei ben Afshi lo yisoichelu. Lo yisoich. Dami v'nafshi lo yisoich. V'rabanan, aho, l'mishu shratzim udasa. That the halach that we learned the other day, that the aver, again, shratzim over here doesn't mean a sheretz, it means the limb of a sheretz is permitted to b'nei noach. We see something similar. So that teaches us the isser of aver menachai. Here, I'll show you in the pasuk. Rak chazak libidei chol adam. So the first part is telling us Ever Menachai. K'adamu nefesh is dam menachai. It's a little different. The Vilna Gaon skips the next 2 lines because it's like it contradicts itself. So we have a Rabbanan argue, and they say there is an isser of a dam, but not the blood that you're talking about. Dafka, the blood that will cause the death of the animal. How do you know what blood is the death of that? Well, you see the color. The coloration of the blood is slightly darker. It's a blacker blood. That is the blood that's also. So again, according to Reb Chanina, the dam is part of Ever Menachai. According to Chachamim, it's not part of Ever Menachai. It's a new isser of dam menachai. In addition, there's another machlokes. What blood is also? According to Reb Chanina, all blood is also. According to Chachamim, only the one that's neshama yotzei. Why did the Torah repeat itself? Once I said Ever Menachai is also b'nei noach, so then why does the Torah have to repeat itself? Says the Gemara, so this is super interesting because it doesn't make sense. It's against logic, basically. And the Gemara is going to ask, if the Torah repeats itself, it says first to b'nei noach, then to the Yidden. So that means both are chayiv in this mitzvah, Noach and Jews. If it was only told to Bnei Noach and not at Har Sinai, so what would you think logically? If you didn't see the Gemara, only to Bnei Noach and not at Har Sinai. Who has to perform these mitzvahs? Bnei Noach. Gemara says the opposite. Only Yidden. So this is a little bit against logic. The Gemara is going to explain. Vanu, There's only one example in the entire Torah that was said, an Avera was said to Bnei Noach and not repeated in Har Sinai. And what is that? Elo Gid Hanosha. Only one mitzvah called Gid Hanosha. Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. Here's our famous Rabbi from Weisfish, who someone didn't get my email. I sent him an email. I asked him if he has any updated pictures. This, he's holding in his hand the Gid Hanosha. Check out this new technology that we're going to be starting using here now. This is a Gid Hanosha. The blue. Bringing Torah to life. Sciatic nerve, it's called. That's mamish what he was holding in his hand, I think. If you looked, it was like a thick. Looks delicious. Okay. This is machlokes, very interesting machlokes. We all know in the Torah it says, why can't you eat Gid Hanosha? Because Yaakov Avinu had a fight with the Malach. When was the Isser said? Here's the question. Was the Isser said at the fight, right then and there, and for Bnei Noach? Or was the Isser said on Har Sinai? And the Torah is saying this is what happened back then, and that's why it's Asur. Rabbi Yehuda says that it happened back then by Noach, and the Isser's then, and that's what the Gemara says now. It goes according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Gid Hanosha. Shalom Aleichem. Hi guest, what's your name? What's your name?
Mike Greenberg.
Mike Greenberg sounds very familiar. From where?
Peony State.
Oh.
Forget about it.
Well, I used to live on Peony State.
That's why I'm making a deal.
You're messing with me. I used to live between L&M also, on East 13th. I'm not joking. Next to the NBC, that's where they filmed all those movies. And the studio's in middle on the yeah. Amud Beis over there. So says the Gemara, Shalom Aleichem, welcome. Alansman, I get his humor. Peony State, he chaps. That means you were here. How long are you doing this year with us? How long are you doing this year? No, so that's pretty long. That's very nice. Shkoyach for coming. Mike Greenwald. Omar Mar. So we just said that any mitzvah that was repeated but for Noach and at Har Sinai, that's a Isser or a mitzvah for Bnei Noach and Klal Yisrael. Adarabah, midinishas b'Sinai, maybe the opposite. Once HaKadosh Baruch Hu repeated it at Sinai, so it's Yisrael nemar v'lo Bnei Noach. Miditni avedazor b'Sinai v'ashkach na'anash oivdei kechavim ilava. Since this was repeated at Sinai, and Avodah we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu repeated it. It was first said to the Noach, and then it was said at Sinai. So you see that everybody's chayv in it. A guy is also chayv in this thing. What do we have here? Here, this pasuk. This is Avodah. And then it says, after Har Sinai, why did the goyim get punished? Because they didn't keep pasuk yud of doing Avodah Zarah. So you see that a guy is chayiv after Har Sinai, a guy is still chayiv. Shema mino lozeh ulozeh nemra. I'm just thinking to myself, how come I didn't show this yesterday in Bnei Brak, this slide? It was so hard for me to concentrate. The noise, it was just the balagan and the speakers and there was like echo. It was unbelievable. Literally like this. Not a joke. Livnei Noach v'lo nishnes b'Sinai. You know what I'll say? I'm trying to control myself because we have to move. But I love this word so much, and I say it very often. But since it's in the parasha, I like to say it every time it's brought in the Aseret Sadibers. I said, you know what? Let me skip it because we only have 7 minutes left. But I love the word. It says, "Lo yisachmoid beis reyecha." You shouldn't want your friend's house. Now, look, everybody looks around. So it's not fair. I don't have a house. Why does this guy have a nicer house than me? Why does he have a better car than me? Look at his kids. His kids are doing so well in yeshiva. It's not fair. How come my daughter's not engaged and his daughter's married with 3 grand? People have tightness. And then the Torah says, never be jealous of your friend. Because if you want that particular thing that your friend has, his kids are married, yours aren't. You have to take the entire package. You have no idea what this guy is going through. You have no idea what kind of mental health issues his wife has. You have no idea what kind of, medical issues he has. You have no clue. If you want what he has, then you have to take the entire package, Rabbi Yisai. Zok the Gemara, Livnei Noyach. Livnei Noyach v'lo nishnas b'sina. Sorry. Oh, Livnei Noyach v'lo nishnas b'sina. We said that it was only told to Bnei Noyach, and it wasn't said at Sinai, which we said there's only one example for that. Gid Anosha. And everybody said the opposite. That means that if it wasn't repeated in Har Sinai, I said it's not for Klal Yisrael. No, the opposite. It's only for Klal Yisrael, not for Noach. Because it wasn't said in Sinai, so obviously it was something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to give the Jews. It was only for Noach. Says the Gemara, there's no such thing that something is mutter for a Jew and usher for a goy. Says Rashi, check this out. The Ashkechon, the Anosh Gechom Elayu, Shema Mino Yisrael, Shiyotzu L'Gdusha, Omni B'Yisurim. So I think the Pshat in Rashi is like this. Beautiful. Listen to this. A little bit of a knetch in Rashi. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give him mitzvahs and averos? Why did Hashem say? So a lot of people, oh, it's not fair. I have to keep Shabbos. It's so hard. I can't text. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to elevate you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to give you Gedusha. He gave us mitzvahs and averos to be mekadesh you, not to make it hard for you. If so, it makes zero sense to say that a goy has a mitzvah and a Jew doesn't. What, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be mekadesh the goy in that thing and not you? That's why it doesn't make sense. If you know the depth of it, as the Gemara, very fast toyar, there's a mitzvah that a Jew is mutter and a goy is aser. Here, there's more kedusha for the goy over here. No, it's a technical problem. A goy doesn't have the ability to conquer. He can't come in and conquer Gaza or something. He just can't. But you could. I'm saying it, there's reference to Trump. What about the fact that a goy cannot steal a half a pruta, but a Jew could? Not that he could, but he's not chayiv on it. That's also a technical problem that Klal Yisrael, they are rachmanim, a goy is not. A Jew is moichel right away, so there's no isser, you're not over when you steal from him, but a goy doesn't have that issue. And we said yesterday, so even if you're moichel him afterwards, it doesn't help, you're still chayiv because you're not a bar mechila to that person who is chayiv misa on stealing. He said that any mitzvah that was said both to a Jew and to the Bnei Noach, they're both chayiv. Asked the Gemara, what about bris milah that was given to Bnei Noach? The chsiv. It was repeated in Har Sinai. So therefore, it should be a chiyuv for a Jew and a non-Jew. But we know that a non-Jew is not chayiv in milah. Says the Gemara, the reason why it was repeated twice is not to give it again. Also, just to tell us how halacha that you're allowed to perform bris milah on Shabbos. Bayoim, vafilu b'Shabbos. What? I don't have Bayom Shmini. Bayoim, vafilu b'Shabbos. You're saying because it says in the Torah Bayom Shmini. Where are the sponsors there? I don't have. Sponsors. Turning to the daf. Thank you, the Rebbe Stefansky. At our global experts in international financial services. Anonymous, Refuah, Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim. Ask the Gemara. Very period. Shenemar lebnei Noach. D'chsiv atem pruvu. V'nishnas b'Sinai. It was repeated again. Leichem or lem shuva lochem lo yolechem. And we know that the chiyuv is only for Yisrael. It's not a chiyuv on a non-Jew. According to you, it should be a chiyuv on a non-Jew. Yisrael nemer lebnei Noach. Says Gemara, no, there's a little bit of a vart here. The reason why the Torah repeated itself is to teach you halacha. Although HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, distance yourself from your wives for 3 days, so you would think that after 3 days, you just go back to your wife. No. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't do something for a certain amount of time, you cannot go back after that certain amount of time. You have to wait for him to say, and now you can go back. There's such a halacha. He has to come back and repeat it, and that's what it's coming to say. Ask the Gemara, so you're telling me that what? That because you have a halacha attached there, a small halacha called that anything called over Sheminyan, you have to repeat it. So that's why it's not considered as if HaKadosh Baruch Hu repeated it by Sinai. And that's why there's no chiyuv for pru revu on a goy. So every one of the seven mitzvahs in Noach has a new chiddush that was given after Har Sinai. Lamashal, when you're talking about Avodah Zarah, the Torah gives einchim at Sinai. Before there's no einish. It doesn't say what the einish is. The Torah says, here, you do this, you're going to get streifer, you're going to get the chenek, you're going to get skila. So there's a little bit of a chiddush. Oh, so there's a little bit of chiddush. Then it's as if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't repeat it by Sinai. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't repeat it by Sinai, what? Then a ben noyach is potter on it. The only time a ben noyach is chayiv is if it was repeated in Sinai. You just told me that something that's repeated in Sinai but has a little bit of a chiddush to it is not considered a repetition. Hari Gaman. The reason why Hazar Mehader umisna b'lameli. Okay. If you want to say the chiddush, that's the point over here. Just say the chiddush. Say Avodah this is you get this einish. Arayis, you get that einish. Just say the chiddush in it. Why do you have to repeat the whole isser again? Oh, from the fact that I'm repeating the whole isser again, then that tells me that a ben noyach is chayiv. So if so why do you say that there's only one thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't repeat at Sinai? Only one. Gida nasha. V'aliv de Rabbi Yehuda. Haninami lo yitnu. But Milan Pruruvu comes out that also weren't repeated. Why weren't they repeated? Because there's a little chiddush in it. Because it wasn't really said to be repeated. Says Gemara, no. Hani itnu l'shum mitzvah. No, it was repeated. Just what? You said that it has a little bit of a chiddush, so that's why it's not considered a repetition. But it was repeated. The only thing that was never repeated at all is Gidanasha Hala Yisniklal. Gidanasha wasn't isn't it? The Torah never warned Bnei Noach to have a bris milah. There's only one person in the world that Hashem said to have a bris milah. That's Avram and his descendants. So Mamela, it's not a Ben Noach thing. It's not it wasn't repeated. It was only said once at Sinai. That what? You shall keep the bris milah, only you and your descendants. It wasn't given to the generation. It was given to Avram Avinu and his descendants. Yishmael is the descendant. Your idea is, but there's a miot. Only Yitzchak is going to be considered your descendant. So Yitzchak's descendants also. Bnei Yosef l'chayvu. Esav was the son of Yitzchak. Should be chayiv. What? Be Yitzchak v'lo yikol Yitzchak. There's another miot be. Not all of Yitzchak's sons. Some. Avram Avinu had 6 boys. From Keturah, obviously he gave them a milah, the Gemara understands. Why? It's only from Avram, some of Avram's descendants, not all. That all Bnei Keturah are chayiv b'milah. So some of the G'dolei Achronim want to say from this, that it comes out that all Arabs are chayiv milah b'zman hazeh. Why? Because we don't know if they're from Keturah or Yishmael. There's a suffix. There's a whole thing going, the Yehuda, the this, that. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a such a shita, if you're a ben Keturah, you're chayiv in bris milah. And we don't know what an Arab is. What? What?
That's fine.
Okay, I'm saying there's other Rishonim. Other Rishonim was not allowed to eat meat. You all remember the Tosfos I brought that Rashi, that what? They were allowed to eat meat. In what situation? If it dropped dead. Because the kash is very strong. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Bnei Noach not to eat ever menachai? They're not allowed to eat any meat. Zero meat. Forget about from a live animal. Even if it's a dead animal. The answer is they could eat from a nevela. So maybe if it drops off a live animal, it's like a nevela, maybe I would think you'd allowed to eat it. No.
Stood off a roof. And then it died. And then
yeah. It says, I'll just show you the psukim real quickly. Because it's important to know this. Like Baruch Hu told Adam, you eat grass. Eat grass, be a vegetarian. And it says, then it says, eat the grass. And in Pasuk Lamed, so the Gemara dies from this, but not animals. The animals get grass, but you don't get animals. And then for Bnei Noach, is called. Rabbeinu Chai says a very interesting thing, that why was Noach allowed to eat meat all of a sudden? Because without Noach, all the animals would die. They're in the Gzar Misa. So Noach saved them. So Noach saved them, he has like a ruling over them. He's able to do whatever he wants with them. Maybe Noach shouldn't have Ever Menachai. Talmud Loimer, Ach Bos Benafshi Dom L'Sechelu. It's an Isser on Ever Menachai. Yachal Lav Shratz, and maybe you should be usher to eat a limb of a sheretz. Talmud Loimer, Ach, there's a miyot. Well, my Talmud, where does it mention anything about a sheretz here? A larger animal has blood, has a. You ever like look at an insect? Like, do they really? I don't even know how it works. Do they have a blood circulation? They have a heart pumping blood. Who knows what's going on in this little tiny insect? Shratzim, the Gemara understands that their blood in them is one. A mouse, blood in one. Meisvei. Beautiful stuff here. You said that Adam Arishan cannot eat meat. So what's pshat in the pasuk? You should rule the fish. What do you mean rule the fish? They should have the ability, my love, lachili, should be able to eat them. Adam couldn't eat. The Gemara understands. Meat means meat, even fish. Lo melacha. It means to work them. So, typically speaking, here's working an animal. V'dagim b'nei melacha, you know what? A fish could work in. Yes, the Refuah asked the question. The boy Refuah, this is also to plow with two different animals. What if you pull a wagon with a goat and a fish? How do you pull a wagon with a goat and a fish? Here, Yoshi has it figured out. Mamish like this. Okay. Toshma u'ba'ay. And it says that Adam Rishon had power over the birds. My lav lachil means he could eat birds, which is meat. Lai lemelacha. No, to work them. You know what? A bird could work in. An animal that doesn't have four legs, is that also considered plowing a chulu? So we have here a shiloh l'sachsim on bird. They're dash. They're jumping around on the wheat. They're working for you. Toshma, or like doing l'sachsim to a pigeon that's flying letters or whatever. It's working a bird. Toshma. Okay, very good. You answer me birds, you answer me fish. But what about a creeping creature? How's that going to work for you? Yeah, a snake is a creeper, and it can work for you. The Sanhedrin, it's a shame today we have robots, but in the time of back then, we had something called a nachash. He could have been your robot. Without the curse, everybody in Klal Yisrael, I saw Reb Shimon Schwab says that the nachash then was more like we're talking about here, oops. It was more like a monkey, he calls it, like a chimpanzee. He brings rayas. Okay, a very smart animal. That what this guy, this is at the end, hold on. We had two great snakes. We'd send them out north, the North Pole, South Pole. To get them great stones. All types of unbelievable stones. I had a shiloh, but I found it later by I was mechaven, Baruch Hashem, mechaven. It's a very simple question. If every Jew gets thousands of beautiful diamonds, so diamonds are worthless. I have 1,000 diamonds, you have 1,000 diamonds, so what's a diamond? I get these nachashim to do the job for me. What's the? Oh, here's a. This is the other room. Okay, it doesn't look like so many people over there, but okay, fine. Here, you have these nachashim here. Ooh, they had feet. You know, back in the day, they used to have feet. More like okay. This is it. They have like some sort of device under their tail, and they're able to dig for you and bring dirt from here to there, whatever it means. Something like this. It has to be some device like this. There's no shaila. Meisvei. Oivei, slayed again. It always gets slayed here. Oh, you're Rabbi Yehuda ben Taima Oimer. Adam Rishon Meisav began Eden Oyav. Oyu Malach Yashar. So Adam Rishon was sitting in Eden, and Malach Yashar started Basra and Sanan Loyam. They gave him meat, and they were grilling for him, and then filtering out wine for him. So you see that Adam Rishon ate meat. You're saying that Adam Rishon can't eat meat. Hey, this is by Nachash Rob Chvoidev in Eskana. The Nachash saw him and was jealous. Said, it's different. When Basra flies out of the heaven, that's different. It's not real meat. It's like synthetic meat. There's such a thing. In Rishon ben Chalafta, a Meiser Shaya, Rishon ben Chalafta have a cause of Baruch, he's going the way. We sing it on Friday night. Nobody knows what we're talking about. The lions came towards him. So he looks up Shemaim and says, look, your lions need some food. 2 whole sides of an animal flew down. So the lions ate one. I just asked the Olam, what would you do if you were walking in the street and a piece of meat fell out of the street? Well, think about it for a second. What would you do?
Holy cow.
What? Out of the sky.
Check the hechsher.
Holy cow. Check the hechsher. You know what I would do? I would freeze it. Everybody that came to my house, I'd pull it out and show this is a piece of meat. They'll say, okay, Eli with his mices again. Mices Kamataya. But I would show it to the Olam. He went to the Beis Medrash, could I eat it or not? Why? Says Rabbi Zchut, because to Shimon Mechalafta, there's zero difference between meat that falls out of Shemaim or meat that you get in the store. Both of them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mezamin you a piece of meat. They're both nisim gluyim. Is this Tamei Tar? There's nothing like that comes out of Shemaim. You know what? Let's stop here. We have a video. I don't have time to show it, so let's just stop here. Aboisai! Have a wonderful day. Motzi Shabbos, 8:45.